The next thing we'll do is the waistband. As we did last semester, we copied the waistband line to create the waistband. Let's zoom in on that. Direct selection, and I select with my direct selection the line between that anchor point and that anchor point. Edit copy, edit paste in front. Control C, Command C, Control F or Command F. And there I have my line. I'm just using my keyboard increments to move that up. And I make a copy of it because I want a full waistband. So what I did was I pressed Alt and moved that up with my arrows once, and then took my fingers off the Alt and moved it up to the distance I wanted it away. Be careful not to make that too narrow. In fact, I think I could make that a little wider as well. It's often good to just zoom out so you can see the proportion of what you're doing. Sometimes if you're too close, your proportions are a little bit out because you're thinking that it looks, you want a thin waistband. So I'm happy with that proportion. I'll zoom in again. Direct selection, join, and initially when I started telling you about drawing this pant, I said I was going to do an extended waistband. I'm going to, instead of closing the center front of this, I'm going to reflect it and then put my extension on. I really enjoy using the reflect tool because I find you've got a lot of control when you place that reflect on the anchor point. Drag it around, so I'm just dragging that across. I hold Shift to drag it in a straight line and Alt to copy it. Back to my line segment tool. I'm going to bring my extension to about there. So I click on the outside of that waistband, hold Shift to drag that down in a perpendicular line, and I've got my line without any fill, which is what we want, and my two waistband pieces. I'll put another color in that one so you can see it. I select everything. Let's go to Shape Builder, and Shape Builder has a color in it. So I'm just going to click onto the white waistband. See how it's highlighted in red? Drag it across and it puts a shadow on the blue. This means that I am now joining those two together. So these are one shape. That's another shape that I need to delete. If I press Alt, you'll see a little subtraction sign come up next to the arrow, and click once. I delete that section. Alt, Alt, back to Selection tool, and back to default black and white. All that we've got left to do now is put the fly in and put stitching in the waistband. I'll put the fly stitching in first. So I'm going to bring my fly stitching down to about here. Click, hold Shift, click again, and drag. So what I've done is I've put a handle on there so that when I come back to here, I've already got a curve, and I'm going to drag a little bit that way too, both times holding Shift. You can see I've got a fill in there. All I'm going to do is select my stitching, eyedropper, copy, and it removes the fill, and it's copied all of those properties. With the waistband, I'm going to go Object, Path, Offset Path, minus 0.5 millimeters, and Preview. OK. Stitching, eyedropper, direct selection. Get rid of that. Zooming out. I'm absolutely finished with everything on this pant, and now I'm going to group the pant, select everything. I've got a blind hem, and the way we know that is because there is no stitching on there. I'm going to select the waistband and group that and make a copy of that. Select everything, reflect tool. Remember, if you just put your reflect tool on the path or something on the center, we can even come down here on that anchor point, drag it around, hold Alt to make a copy and Shift to do it in a straight line. Let go of the mouse first and then let go of your keys. I need to send this to the back. Go to my group selection and select the fly and delete it. And there you have your completed pair of pants. We can also just put a line across the crotch. We'll put a line profile in there. You could do something like that if you want to. And we're ready to go on with the back.